Howdy everyone, it is your king and prophet, Captain Sarsy, with another episode of WeeAddy. Nah, I'm just screwing with you. This is BronyTrioRadio with
BTK6,
Benjamin Brony,
Cancel it, aka Crafrex,
Captain Sarsy,
and BTK6. Alright, and this episode was 23, Where the Apple Lies.
with Jim Carrey.
Back to you, fuckers!
Primarily an Applejack episode. And I guess I'll see if you guys want to start. Or
Well, I don't really have a lot to say about this episode, really, so you can go ahead.
well, I guess I'll start with a lot of things I liked about it. It had a feel of the old, like season 1-ish kind of feel. Somehow, I don't know, to me it kind of did. But the ending part where she Granny Smith was talking gibberish and holding up a Big Mac's hoof. She's like, "We're gonna have to trim these branches," and it showed this really sharp saw. It's like that's a little morbid for, it seems like they're doing slightly morbid things this newer season, but overall the episode had an older season feel to it, and I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it took place in a few of the same locations, but the hospital's a little bit different. Now, I know some of the ponies in the flashback or story were the same age as they were now. They had derpy. I couldn't tell if she was in her teen years or same age.
Background ponies never age.
They're just there for background decoration.
They are born as background ponies, and they live as background ponies.
They weren't even born, they're just artificially created.
Yeah,
Exactly, they were born.
They're living props.
Artificially born.
Unborn. Born legacy. Yeah, I think I had some notes for this episode too. But so what were the things that you guys liked about it?
I liked how it was pretty much also the origin story of why Big Mac only goes yap.
It's kind of messed up in a way. They made him stop talking.
No, he stopped talking because Applejack. You can blame Applejack on why Big Macintosh doesn't talk a lot anymore.
She gave him PTSD.
Yeah.
Big Mac has a really fat head. When I was realizing it, because his hair, I'm used to his hair being kind of long, so you don't see part of his neck. So it makes it look like he has a really fat head. But yeah, there's not too much to go on about this episode, but it's pretty pleasant. And technically the last episode that showed, I guess, and is an alright note to leave off on, since they're all out of order.
Technically the last one to show was episode 24.
Oh, yeah, Top Bolt.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking this is the last one, but yeah, we'll get to that later.
Because this was the last one in the United States to... So, wait, no. That would be a 22. I think.
But yeah, there's not too much I didn't like about this episode.
Yeah. It was a good episode.
One thing I was expecting, okay, not really expecting, but it would be a neat little surprise if they showed Applejack's parents. But maybe that was that wasn't way back long enough to show when Applejack's parents were around.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're not going to show her because she doesn't have any parents. She too was artificially created in a lab.
Or like Scootaloo, she's just there.
That's like the explanation for every pony. If they don't have parents shown, it's a given that they're artificially created and they're not real ponies.
No, she was artificially created still. But Big Mac is her father, Granny Smith is her mother, and they were artificially created her.
She was made.
Are you sure it was artificially?
Apple DNA.
Yes.
Oh, I just noticed they showed 80s Cheer Lee, where she's showing her book to the fillies in the school, when it showed her 80s hair. It showed her in the flashback.
Okay. If you can even understand me, I'm out in the middle of the woods, so
He's
I'm
clown.
sorry.
He's clown hunting.
Anyway, shut up.
Hashtag clown
So
lives matter.
Oh, and I liked about. I like this episode a lot because I liked how it showed teenage Applejack in it, because we don't see many teenage ponies. I like that a lot. Along with what Kent said with the origin story of Big Macintosh. Did anybody else catch the Shining reference of those two chicks that were twins? I like that.
No, I did not.
No.
You didn't catch that?
No.
I know Wars caught it. At least I think so.
This is kind of funny to see Applejack with two braids in her hair, or two ponytails, whatever you call that. Because whenever they show her in a 3D model, they give her two of those on each side. And hey, that's actually relevant now.
There.
And also, this is a very kind of business-heavy kind of episode
It was in the.
where they kept talking about the farm and talking about selling goods and stuff. It was like, all right.
Oh yeah,
Good.
I like how they show Phil is not a bad guy.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. It shows him that he was always a pretty good, honest guy.
He's still filthy bitch.
He's
So
still
we're talking about that because your girl's in the future
rich.
episode.
In his heart, he's still filthy rich.
And I'll say my part now. This
We didn't even say what
episode-
we didn't like.
Well, I haven't even said what I liked. What I think I liked, there's not much to it, but I mean,
Oh, I don't
the
know.
fact that that's basically a preview of what she'd become one day, considering that she still lies to this day, and has the balls to call herself the element of honesty.
She's
Meanwhile,
the element of loyalty.
liar.
So
That is the summary of this episode
That was good.
in 2 episodes.
So what didn't you like about the episode? Here's what about
Applejack is
Benjamin.
now just the element of.
So Benjamin, what didn't you like about this episode?
One thing I didn't like about the episode was obviously kind of like what you said. It's a little bit of a heavy audio-based episode. I think I've said this before in the past about a previous one, but it's like you kind of really have to listen kind of carefully to understand what's going on and everything. I mean, it's a little easy to understand because she's lying and talking about that and shit, but it's just kind of not a lot of visuals. But I mean, if you look, there's a lot of visuals actually. That, and there wasn't enough 80s other background ponies.
Yeah,
We needed more of them.
Only slight teen
Like the
teen physique, I guess, or anorexic looking. But another really good thing about this episode is the captions were really interesting.
well, I mean,
Showcasing the racist side of Granny Smith.
if we ever get that released on BTR, you guys will be able to hear us reading the captions of this episode. That'd be cool.
Yes, it's a demonstration and all that stuff. Alright, I guess we all said our piece and stuff.
I didn't say what I didn't like.
Okay.
Applejack. This episode was actually difficult to watch.
For your
because I
birthday
was,
episode, we're really forgetting everything we're gonna say.
Anyways, this episode was somewhat hard to watch because it was just like she keeps doing these more ridiculous lies, and I'm just inside cringing like, you made a bad habit that would never go away.
Oh yeah.
And that's pretty much all there is to it.
This episode's also the origin story of where Applejack got her into her habit of compulsive lying.
Yes.
I guess we all said our piece, and I'll let dilly dally little shit.
Oh, by the way, I've got a ridiculous prediction. Your prophet. Because she still lies today, and she's supposed to be the element of honesty. She's not the real element of honesty. In the end, in the series finale, it's going to be revealed that she's the villain of everything. Anything bad that's happened in Equestria, it's been because of her. The real element of honesty died 1,000 years ago, and she's really the element of dishonesty.
Oliver, lie.
Dishonored.
And there's going to be like an ultimate showdown, and this final episode's going to be like an interactive.
Yeah, you choose what ending it happens.
And it's like all of a sudden on your TV screen, quick time events are going to start popping up. You got to grab your nearest controller or remote, start interacting with them. Depending on how you do, is the ending you get.
She cuts her hoof off. She cuts her
Either
hoof
way,
off at one point.
Mr. Rogers
You know-
wins the ultimate
You don't have to
showdown.
technically look like
Alright, we got a little off topic, so I guess now we're gonna introduce our guest. We can finally gladly say we can have on here for once. Now introducing WeeAddy.
Hello!
Welcome.
Hi!
Welcome to BronyTrioRadio. I was expecting the other ones to greet you, but alright.
I don't need to be greeted.
So,
fine. I'm the outsider.
yeah.
I don't know if you want to like explain like one of the other things you do, like you do animations or...
Well, hello, my name is WeeAddy31 TNG. The TNG stands for the Nifty Gamer. I am a Let's Player, and I used to do animation. I still do it, dabble into it here and there, like pony-related animation. And that is pretty much the long and short of it. I'm also an what's the word? Amateur voice actor as well, so that's about that. That's all I do, and I'm not that exciting.
Well, alrighty. So, how'd you get into the fandom of My Little Pony? Like, how'd you first experience it and all that?
It was 2013. Let me set the scene. 2013, and Markiplier has uploaded a video on SCP Containment Breach's My Little Pony mod, and says nothing but horrible things on the community. You know, in a jokey manner, because he doesn't get it and he's not into it. And I watched the whole thing, and I'm like, really? That's a thing? Weird! And then, as a result of this video, more and more like recommended MLP stuff comes up into my YouTube feed, and I quite liked the art style from it, and as much as I didn't like to admit it, I was like, man, I kind of want to watch this. And then one day I decided, right, balls to that, I'll sit down, I'll watch the first 2 episodes, since it was a 2-parter. And after watching those first 2, I was hooked, watched about 7 more episodes, went to bed, and then yeah, I just sort of went from there and watched like all of season 1 to 3, and probably watched it all in about in a week, and then I was hooked, and then that was about it. So May of 2013, and it was just because it caught my interest after watching something that originally didn't really have any interest in it at all, if you get me, because there was no link between Mark actually liking it and then it showing up in my feed. Well, first off, I want to say, I have to say, while I was listening, I did also notice the 2 girls that I think Ben mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
From The Shining.
Okay.
I did see that, and I thought that was pretty nifty. I've never seen The Shining, I just caught the reference. And then also the cheerlead thing, like I saw later on Facebook that someone had pointed out that Big Mac is actually like checking her out in that scene. Like he's looking at her with like this big smile on his face, and then he turns around and starts talking to Applejack, which I thought was like a nice nod to the cheerlead and Big Mac episode.
Is it kinky age difference? Alright.
But I think it was good. It's good to see Big Mac talking and see what his character. Whoa. It's good to see Big Mac talking and see what his character was like before he became the silent kind of person that we know now. The silent pony we know now. And he seemed a bit full of himself, I think.
Kind of cocky, I guess. Seems like.
Yeah.
I don't know what age that would be in like human years, but I imagine that'd be where he's like 13, where he's like getting the hormones and all that. That's the only way I can think of it. Or yeah, that was just trying to live up to the title, Big. Where he needs
I don't know.
He needs to be the big man. Cox
I would say
almighty.
he's probably a bit of a young adult at that point, because if Applejack's in her teenage years, as you guys were saying, maybe he's slightly older, and you know, he's getting to the point where he would be old enough to run the farm, and that's why he's trying to take charge, like the older sibling would, but he's still immature enough to not be in charge.
Yeah.
But no, I did like to see like the brother-sister dynamic between the 2 of them, and watch what Big Mac was like before he stopped talking.
Brother and sister arguing a lot.
Yeah, very relatable, especially if you have a sibling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
think we all do. Well, anyway.
I have two sisters as my siblings.
Oh, I thought you only had one sister. But yeah, one thing that occurred to me right now. I wonder if Big Mac played any Dungeons and Dragons back then. Like, I wonder
probably.
if he was going to school, he was like hanging out with the kids, the geeks, and playing D&D. That was only later on when he was hanging out with Spike.
He was hanging out with he was playing it with inside of Spike's egg. And if Spike hasn't been laid yet, he was playing it, not that Spike hasn't been laid.
Oh my.
If Spike's egg hasn't been created yet, then Big Mac just went inside his mother and played with him in there. And not that way either.
Yeah.
God, I'm making everything sound
Big Man
wrong.
gets the ladies.
Okay.
Sir McBiggins. Sir McBiggins indeed. Sir Dickus. Biggest Dickus.
Very big.
Oh, the others. So, what didn't you like about this episode, WeeAddy?
What didn't I like? It boils down to one thing. The name of the whole episode was Where the Pony Lies. And that sounds to me like the death of Applejack's parents, which I want to see very much.
Oh, I think the name was actually Where the Apple Lies?
Well, wait, what did I say?
Oh, Where the Pony Lies.
I know, I want to see
Where the Pony Lies.
Oh, well, you
Like
know
we
what I meant.
Like we said before,
Oh,
she doesn't
yeah,
have real
okay,
parents.
I see.
Artificial, created in the lab.
But if we ignore that aspect of what you're assuming more Sourcey, I want to see it because what I didn't understand about the episode was, okay, so if they're arguing about who's running the farm and their parents are nowhere in the episode, there's two possibilities. One, they're still alive, but they're looking after Apple Bloom, or if they are dead in that time zone, where is Apple Bloom during all this and who's looking after her? Because Granny Smith has occasions where she's on the farm talking to AJ and Big Mac, and that means there's baby Apple Bloom in the house somewhere, just like destroying shit. You know?
I just thought of something funny. What if in the season finale they have like a clip of how Applejack's parents died, and it's almost like a Batman setting,
yeah,
like
or
where
it's
it's
Starlight
even
Glimmer.
like raining and this dramatic music's like, oh,
Starlight Glimmer killed them. She went to the future and killed
as they
them.
fall down in slow motion.
Then Applejack gets revenge, like Spider-Man.
Then she
Actually-
becomes the Batmare.
Yeah,
This was something I was
becomes
thinking
the
of.
Flutter Batmare.
What if we do see her parents in a earlier episode of My Little Pony?
But they just didn't like.
What if they've been there
point it
all
out.
along and we just haven't been looking close enough?
Exactly, because she also has oranges as family
Yeah,
that also count as apples.
that'd
so-
be interesting. Maybe
So maybe
her parents
her
are cherries.
family her parents are running the oranges part of the family.
Oh, that's why they kicked her. They didn't want her on there because she was disgraced to her
No,
orange
that's why
family.
she's not. Why her parents aren't there. She didn't stay up in Manhattan on the orange side of the family because she didn't want to.
Oh, I thought you
But I
said she's
think
orange.
Her
If that
cutie
was-
mark was calling her at the apple farm anyway.
Then soon to be the castle.
I feel like if that was the case, then they could have made it to Apple Bloom getting her cutie mark like everyone else was, and that kind of disproves it. Also, the fact that the writers have said before that the parents are actually definitely dead.
Oh.
Where's the proof of that?
There was a post somewhere by one of the writers. I don't remember where.
Well, as long as you don't have any proof, then there is no proof.
You can Google this. I'm sure. I believe in you to Google this.
Well, we'll do that whenever. I'll pull up the information
Yeah.
right now.
What?
I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Maybe
But
we could just go
I'm
up
pretty
and
sure I
all-
saw it somewhere.
Whoa.
You are wrong because I never heard of that from anyone else. Even Applejack fans, I haven't even heard that from.
But also, a
Well,
part of the reason I don't think that could be a case is because, like, we've seen occasions before where there's ponies in the scene. Like, we've seen Rainbow Dash on top of Rainbow Blaze, and apparently, according to another writer, that's not even her dad. or maybe not him, but like there's Rainbow Blaze in in the Christmas episode of season 6, walking around, and we're like, oh look, he made it. And there's this lady pony next to Scootaloo. That could be Scootaloo's mum, but apparently neither of them are related to Rainbow Dash or Scootaloo,
I don't know.
according to writers.
We'll just have to wait till like, they get a random tweet when one of the writers is like pissed drunk and like, oh, I'm gonna give away the season finale.
Yeah.
Then he wakes up
Yeah.
and then a whole angry mob formed in front of his house.
But to wrap this up, basically, I didn't like that was like the main thing that bothered me, was I was wanting something to like come about with Applejack's parents. I know it's unlikely because it's a kid's show, you know, about death. You wouldn't expect death to be in it at all, but I want some sort of thing in canon, non-comic book animated form that will say, here's what happened. Like, even the flashback scenario where they're telling Apple Bloom a story could work for this to be like, oh, well, here's what your parents were like, and here's what happened.
They got hit by a train. It's just the flashback just ends and Apple Bloom just crying.
It was the train that they were driving in one of season 1 episodes.
Yeah, it derailed. It flew 500 feet in the air and then it went straight back down on them. They somehow
They
fell out of it. Like,
just use a
we're
scene
okay. The train
recycled
came-
from season 1, except for they only add a slight crunch sound.
Ah! But yeah, other than that, I thought it was a decent enough episode. Like, most of season 6 for me has just been like entertainment. It hasn't been like, whoa, that was great, like season 5 was for me.
So, what was your, oh yeah, what was actually the first episode you ever seen of My Little Pony, if you can remember?
Oh, just the first one.
Like, the first episode in the actual series?
Oh yeah, because I'm a person who enjoys like story and plot and all that, and
Alright.
I decided I was going to start from episode 1, not just pick a random one. And after I noticed that this show did have a plot as well, I was like, oh, well, it's a good thing I started at episode 1.
Nice.
And that's part of the reason why I watched 2 episodes, because I was only going to watch 1, and at the end of the first one, when it said to be continued, I was like, well, shit, now I have to watch 2.
I actually kind of like shows with consistency. Like,
Yeah.
to give a shout out, that new show, Mighty Magic Sword, that show's kind of played out the way I thought it was. Kind of disappointing. It's same pace as Teen Titans Go here.
It's so fast, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like okay, I just watched something happen. Also, the characters are rip-offs of Lena Inverse and Gowry from Slayers, the anime. Anyway,
The only thing I really like about that show is that
The
Dan
characters-
Avidan from Game Grumps sings the theme song, and Aaron's in it somewhere.
Alrighty. Well, before this wrap this up, did you know
What?
I'm wearing my tie?
Did you know the Great Wall of China is actually broken up into many other smaller walls?
And there's skeletons in it for Halloween,
Did you know 9/11 did itself?
and not tails.
Did you know?
Did you
God's
know if
parents are
you
dead?
reverse the video on 9/11, the building rebuilds itself?
And Will Smith is
It,
dancing.
it, it just goes like Legos. It like takes 5 seconds to rebuild it.
That plane flies.
Anyways, we got a community we got a community question from Equestria Daily for our guest. And what's your opinion on Starlight Glimmer this season?
I feel like they didn't do enough with her.
Oh, there
I do
I
do quite-
Woodbone.
I quite enjoy her
I
as a
love her.
character. Like, I like her reformation, but like the way she's been reformed. But I feel like there's not enough episodes dedicated to her just being her.
Yeah.
The whole Trixie episode was a good one.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it right now, but yeah, I know what episode you're talking about. That was a pretty
Basically,
good
Trixie commits suicide. The video,
episode. Yeah.
or attempts suicide. That was so dark. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Continue on with it. Did you know the magnitude of the tie? We'll just assume no, just so that the FBI don't go looking for me. So,
Did I
it's
hear
nice-
Agent nominated FBI?
nice having you on here and everything, so I guess we'll wrap this up now. Thank you, every pony, everyone, every Draconequus, Griffin, Baby Dragon for watching or listening.
See you in the next one. Bye bye.
Take care, y'all. As Warsarsy
Bye.
forgot to say. As Warsarsy forgot to say.
Oh, and as always, I will see you all in the stable.
Oh, yeah, and bring beer. Bring heavy cider apple plum.
Yes.
Okay, don't forget the drill, Benjamin. You need to cut out when you say, "My name is Benjamin Brony."
Oh, and by the way, since this episode's happening on my birthday, I'm making Ben my official BTR bitch for this episode.
Happy birthday to
Okay,
you.
Kurt.
Happy BTR day to you. Can one of you talk real quick? I'm doing a test recording.
Hello.
Testing. 1,
Dr.
2,
Feel.
3.
My penis fell off.
I said one of you, but alright.
Venus Parker?
If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna check the kitchen. Not listening. There's more where that came from. Princess Celestia. Kidding.
What is going on?